Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the man on the screen here. His name is Leonard Cure. Mr. Cure was released from prison in 2020 after spending 16 years in a prison in Florida after being convicted for armed robbery. I'm not going to go too far into the weeds about the case that he had, but he was convicted of armed robbery, and the Innocence Project of Florida did a lot of work and it got him exonerated and released from prison. And I saw a headline somewhere that he was given a settlement of $812,000 when he was released from prison. Well, unfortunately, a few days ago, maybe a week ago at this time, he was pulled over in Georgia by a deputy for speeding, driving over 100 miles an hour. And the altercation that ensued during that traffic stop caused the deputy to discharge his weapon and actually killed Mr. Cure. That's the incident that we're going to be talking about today. And the overall thoughts I have about this incident, I want you to kind of keep in mind as I go through it, because we're going to go through this kind of point by point, minute by minute. We're just going to watch it live. I'm going to react to the video. I've already seen the video and I already have some thoughts on it, but my overall impression is going to be that two things can be true at the same time. You know, you have to remember that a police officer, a deputy, a trooper, whoever the law enforcement officer is that's interacting with the public, he can actually make a series of missteps. But if the person, the citizen, the person of the public that also makes a series of missteps, does them in a certain manner, and the officer discharges his weapon, you can have both things can be true. The officer or whoever it is can make a series of mistakes and then end up discharging his weapon, and that can still be a legally justified shooting based on the actions of the other party. That is one thing that I want people to remember as we're going through the video today. And some of the comments that I have that are going to be critical of this deputy, remember that I'm doing this in the lens, and I'll probably go into in-depth later on in the video, but the lens that I'm looking at this from is that me as a police officer, I want to set myself up for success with every encounter. I want to put myself in a position where one, if I can prevent anything from going bad, I can prevent it from going bad. But two, if things are going to go bad, I want all of the focus to be on the other guy, not on me. Don't put yourself into a situation where you're eventually forced to defend your life with deadly force, but your actions leading up to that incident are going to draw a lot of scrutiny on yourself. These are things that we need to train on, we need to focus on, we need to be cognizant of in all of our interactions. And I think if we watch this video together, you'll understand what it is that I'm saying. At the end of the day, Mr. Cure made a series of poor decisions that led to his death. That's the fact of the matter. The officer, the deputy actually is going to be cleared in this shooting, but it's unfortunate that he made a series of mistakes leading up to it that are going to draw a lot of criticism, not just from people like me, because people like me don't matter, but he's going to have a hard time in the court and in the court of public opinion due to the way he handled this traffic stop. That's my opinion on what's happening here. So let's open this up. I was going to take a different route, but we're just going to start right with the video. So I just pulled it straight up from Police Activities webpage. And let's see, I was trying to avoid the warning, but we'll watch the warning and we'll pick up right when the video picks up. All right, so this is how the incident starts. I don't know if everybody has seen this. Deputy's just driving down the road. A Dodge Ram in the fast lane goes flying by him. He decides, you know what? I'm going to go stop that truck. He's got himself a speeding violator. Nothing wrong with that. That's his job. So he gets up behind the car, and these are some of the indicators that you might be in for a bad time as a police officer. You know, he gets up behind him, lights him up, and then you look at the actions of the truck. He's definitely on his brakes. So it looks like he's slowing down, and then he indicates that he's going to pull over. He's going to get in the center lane, and then he's going to get back in the left lane. There's some stuff going on here, and as a police officer, this starts to kind of spike your adrenaline. your fear response, your danger cues. These are danger cues. That's the word I was looking for. That this person is what I call, it's a feigned compliance. You know, he's got his turn signal on like he's complying, but he's not complying. Obviously, he's still driving the left side of the road. Then eventually he does pull off the side of the road. But as a police officer, as a deputy, whoever you are, when you're in this kind of situation and someone is slow to stop like that, those are immediate danger cues. So your adrenaline is going to start to go up. And what we're going to see is a deputy who is consumed and overwhelmed by his adrenaline when he's going to make the approach on this vehicle. My initial watching of this video, I placed a lot of blame on the deputy, but after watching it back several times, I've relaxed my tune a little bit. But let's see how the deputy responds to having a vehicle that went flying by him at well over 100 miles an hour, and then was feigning compliance, pretending to be compliant, not really being compliant, but eventually pulling off to the side of the road. This is where traffic stops can get very dangerous.
10-4, change that out of 2 Tango. Step out! Step out! Get out!
Alrighty, so I watched this with my wife last night, and the things that were coming across my mind were, this is not what we're trained to do. Initially, you heard the deputy standing back by his car yelling at the driver, step out. So it's like, okay, he's going to do kind of a felony style stop where he's going to order the man out, have him walk backwards to him in a safe manner. He's going to cuff him up. But that's not what he does. He actually starts approaching the vehicle. So now he is not doing like a felony stop for his own safety. Right now, what I believe is happening is he is acting on adrenaline. He's acting on anger. He's mad at this guy because he wasn't driving right. And then when the deputy lit him up, he didn't pull over. So right now you have a deputy who's very angry at the driver of this car. He's screaming at him, yelling at him to get out of the car. This is not the way to gain compliance of somebody. We'll see in a minute. I don't believe that this was going to be a compliant traffic stop regardless of how the deputy started it. But definitely you don't make yourself look good by approaching a vehicle this way.
Get out! Put your hands back here. I ain't doing shit. Put your hands back here. Who are you? Staff Sergeant Officer, Sheriff's Office. My name is Yahweh. I don't care. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of who? In the name of the law of the state of Georgia. Step back here now or you're getting tased.
All right, so this part of the interaction, okay, I have my criticisms of the deputy, of the way he approached the vehicle. I wouldn't do that. I don't think that anybody, well, for one, nobody is trained to do that. Nobody is going to say, yeah, I would have done the exact same thing had a chance to do it over again. Absolutely no police officer in the world is going to do that. That's not how we're trained to go. It's not a smart way to do things. You don't want to be fighting with somebody in the middle of the road like this. This is not good. Should have stayed back in his car. Or you could do a passenger side approach. Although the guy's in a big pickup truck, if you're doing a passenger side approach, you're looking into the car, they actually have a tremendous advantage of you, their ability to conceal weapons and do all those things. If you're going to go around and pop your head over the window of a truck, you're putting yourself in a very dangerous position. So ordering the guy out of the truck, I don't have a problem with. The way he's doing it, I do. And to me, this is purely an adrenaline thing. But the other part is that once Leonard got out of the vehicle, he said, my name is, I don't know what it said. He didn't say Leonard Cure. He said some other name. And I believe that Leonard is high. I think that it's going to come out later that he was intoxicated in some way, shape, or form, during this interaction. I think that's why he's reacting the way he did. I would think that a regular citizen, and I've yelled at citizens before too, and I've also been that citizen that's been yelled at by a police officer. A citizen that is like innocent or terrified of the police officer, they're going to get out and they're going to be like, hey man, what's this all about? Why are you coming at me so strong? That's not what Leonard did. He got out and he's like hulking up on him. defiant, and he's holding his hands in odd ways and doing all these things. I think he's intoxicated.
I'm going. Watch me now. Put your hands on the back of that truck. Do you see that? Put your hands on the back of that truck.
This is not normal activity. Walking back there, pointing out the ground. Do you see that? No, he's intoxicated. He's high right now. And that leads me to believe that if the deputy had done all the right things leading up to this point, we'd still be in a situation where we're likely to see a resisting situation. I'm not going to keep repeating myself.
Back to the truck. Both hands.
And now you got the guy being an absolute smartass, which you don't get killed for being a smartass. At least you shouldn't. That's not a legally justified reason to shoot somebody. But these are definitely things that, as a police officer, my senses are up to here. You know, I got this guy that was driving really fast. He gets out of the car. He's talking strange. He's pointing down at the ground. You can see his eyes and his movements. This guy's intoxicated. Now he's being a jackass. He's being a smartass, putting his hands on the vehicle. You know damn well that the deputy wants you to put your hands on the vehicle like that and turn your back to him so he can grab your hands and put them behind your back. That's what the deputy wants. He knows that, and he's showing that he's not going to comply.
Turn around. 34, can you send me another unit? One non-compliant.
He's also sweating profusely. Where did this occur? So it's October 18th when this occurred, right? Oh, no, October 16th when this occurred. 7:30 in the morning. We're in Camden County, Georgia. I know it's a little bit warmer down there, but I don't think it's like hot right now down in Georgia at 7:30 in the morning. You can see the sun isn't up. It's overcast. People generally aren't sweating like that unless they're intoxicated.
Your
name is Officer who? Staff Sergeant Aldridge with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. Who county? Camden County. Put your hand behind your back. Do I have a warrant? Wait, no. Excuse me. Either put your hands behind your back or you're getting tased.
So the initial thing that the deputy did, now granted, we're not generally going to walk up on people with a weapon in one hand and put our hands on them. But what he did, where he went up and he put his hands on the guy and let him, there's a variety of reasons that you do that. For one, you're letting them know where you are and that you have a hand on them. You're also feeling them, because if somebody's about to do something and you got a hand on them, you can actually, it's weird, you can feel that energy come through their body before they begin to move. When you have your hands on people, you can tell when they're about to act. So that's what he was initially trying to do. Then he began sliding his hand up onto Leonard's wrist, saying, "Hey, put your hand behind your back." It's not the best technique in the world, but it's not horrible. These are kind of standard things. And then he realizes, oh, this guy's about to be a maximum resistor. I'm going to get some standoff space. So that's what he's doing here.
I'm telling you that right now.
Why am I getting tased?
Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving.
I'm not driving. Nobody was hurt. How was I speeding?
You passed me doing.
Now you're getting this stuff where Leonard is talking crazy. You know, he's like, I'm not driving. How was I speeding? Like we all know you just flew by a deputy. Like that game's not going to work.
100 miles an hour.
Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?
Sir, tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
And what? Am I going
Hands
to jail?
behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back.
All right, so some people are going to look at this and they're going to say, oh, he was so high that the taser wasn't effective. No, the reason the taser is not effective is because he didn't get 2 probe hits. As a police officer, when you're in this situation and you see this, you have to realize that you didn't get a good hit. You can also, I'll go back a little bit, you can hear the sound of the taser and you can hear it's not a good hit.
Tickets in the state of Georgia are criminal offenses.
I don't have a ticket in Georgia.
You do now?
Why?
You passed me doing 100 miles an hour.
And what? Am I going to
Hands
jail?
behind your back. Yes, you are going to jail. Hands behind your back.
Can you hear how loud that taser is cycling? That's telling you that it's not a good hit. I'm pretty sure he only got one prong in. He might have gotten two, but they're too close together. This is the reason we also talk about the dart spread. If both of your darts land in the upper torso, the upper hemisphere of a person, what do you call that? The NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation, is only going to occur in a short area. So if you hit somebody and both probes go into the small or the back, you're only getting electrical energy in the small of their back. They can still move their arms and legs and all the other kind of stuff. That's the reason why you want to split the hemisphere. You want to try to get one dart. Can I do this on the screen? One dart in the upper hemisphere, one dart in the lower hemisphere. Either he only got one dart or they're too close together. I believe he only got one dart due to the sound of it, but you'll see in a minute he's going to turn and fight off the taser. Someone that's got two darts in him can't do that.
Put your hands behind your back!
When you have a good taser hit, it doesn't sound like that. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a duller rattling noise. It's more quiet because there's actually a connection between the probes. I'm going to play it one more time just because I think this is important and I don't think most people are aware of this.
Put your hands behind your back!
Yeah, see how loud that was? And then the other thing is the deputy, he's seeing black right now. He's been seeing black since the moment he pulled up to the vehicle and started screaming at him. He wasn't aware that the taser didn't have a good connection. And then when he turns and he starts spinning like this, Leonard knows how tasers work. He knows that there's two very small cables attached to his body, and he's trying to break those cables. This is something that bad guys do. He might have learned this in prison, might have learned this before he went to prison. He, from what I understand, had an extensive criminal record prior to his 16-year conviction for armed robbery. So it's not like he's completely unaware of what's going on right here. So he turns around, he starts swatting at the wires, trying to break that connection so he can fight the officer. And the officer just instinctively hits the button again when what we're trained to do is swap cartridges. You drop that cartridge off the front that's ineffective, you take the other one out, put it on, re-engage. He doesn't do that for a variety of reasons. One, he should have done it when he was still standing behind the guy before he turned and started swinging. The other thing is that when he starts turning and swinging, he's going to charge at the deputy pretty quickly, and he doesn't actually have time to reload the taser cartridge. And now it's a fight. They're going hands on. This is the part where, I saw that. I think I have the story pulled up right here, and I had it paused. Ben Crump, of course, is representing the family in this case. He's sitting there with his big dumb mouth open, seeing nothing but dollar signs, because he believes that this family is going to win a lot of money because this poor innocent man that spent 16 years in prison was exonerated, is the victim of modern day racism, pulled over by a car and by a police officer and executed on the side of the road. So Ben Crump is sitting there seeing dollar signs. The stuff that is making those dollar signs disappear second by second is the way Leonard is acting right here. He turned, starts swatting away the taser probes. Then he's physically assaulting the officer. The officer also is going to, he does revert to his training, and he's going to move through his progression of uses of force like he's supposed to. He didn't just pull up on this guy and execute him. He ordered him out of the car, tried some verbal compliance. It didn't work. Went to tase him. The taser didn't work. Now they're in a physical fight. He's going to physically fight him. You're going to see him in a second pull his baton, try to use his baton. The fight's going to get so bad that the deputy is in danger of being incredibly injured. Plus, they're on the side of the road. This is a very deadly situation. This 100% becomes a lethal force situation. He's forced to discharge his firearm. See here, what a shot. Leonard is pushing his face, you know, that hurts. He's grabbing his face, clawing him. He was choking him at one point, and the deputy's reaction to that is to draw his baton. He draws his baton, his ass, opens it up. He's trying to use his baton on the guy. These are indicators that his training has definitely kicked in here. He's staying in the fight. He's doing a good job of staying in the fight, staying on his feet, defending himself, going through his use of force progression. These are all good things. I think that you know, his momentary going into black at the beginning of this traffic stop, he's snapped out of it now, and he's doing things that he's supposed to be doing as a police officer. And these are the things that, when this comes to an actual court of law, are going to show that he did the right thing.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch.
And at that point, he transitions to his firearm. He's going to fire a shot, shooting and killing Leonard Cure. That's where I'm going to stop the video. That's where I'm going to stop the breakdown of what happened. This is one of those situations where, sure, it's a sad situation. You know, Leonard Cure, for whether or not he was guilty of what occurred in the past, was exonerated by the Innocence Project, has been out for 3 years walking around as a free man, should be still walking around a free man today, enjoying himself. Unfortunately, when he was pulled over, he did not respond appropriately to law enforcement. And that is what, and it ultimately cost him his life. I've said this in videos before, and I'll continue to say it again. If you have an interaction with a law enforcement officer and you don't think that they're acting appropriately, and you think that your life is in danger, you think this guy might be a hothead, all of these things, that's even more of a reason to try to be the calmer individual. Situations like this, where both people are all the way up here, it's only going to end badly. So if you're the citizen in this situation, you have a responsibility as well. Now, the officer has a responsibility to try to keep that person calm, but legally speaking, it's not really part of the Constitution. It's not part of the law. You have a responsibility as a citizen to comply with this law enforcement or officer's orders, even if he does not do it in the way that you want to hear it. If a police officer is yells at you to get out of your car, put your hands behind your back, you should get out of the car and put your hands behind your back, in the same manner as if the police officer calmly gone on his PA and said, "Sir, I need you to step out of the car, put your hands behind your back, walk backwards to the sound of my voice." The way the courts look at this is you still have a responsibility to do the right thing as a citizen in this situation. So at the end of the day, both things can be right. Did the deputy approach this situation the way I would like to see somebody approach the situation? No. Was he justified in his use of force that he ultimately had to carry out? Yes, he was. I think that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you later.